Shola sat on the soft couch, her legs tucked underneath her, watching the ring tab lightly against the window. The hair inside the house felt warm, but there was a strange quietness that made her feel a little lonely. Her mom was on a phone call with someone from work, speaking in a voice that was serious, and a little turn her dad sitting in the chair across from her was typing away on his laptop. His face focused and busy. Shola and her older brother Sagun often spent afternoons like this playing games or reading books, while their parents were caught up with their work. Shola liked this time, it felt peaceful, but today she was feeling a little restless. The toys were boring, and the books didn't seem as fun as usual. She glanced over at Segun, who was flipping through the TV channels. Segun, Shola said, her voice a little hesitant. What are you doing? Segun, who was a year older than Lily, was always the more adventurous one. He leaned forward. Hi, bright with excitement. Shola, look at this. I found something on TV. Come see. Shola scrambled on her feet and sped over to where Segun was. He had found a strange video, something that didn't look like any of their usual cartoons or shows. The people in the video looked older, and they were doing something that made Shola feel a little uneasy. They were acting in a way that did make sense to her. She squinted at the screen, her heart beginning to rise a little. What is this, Sagan? She asked quietly, her voice tinged with confusion. Sagan, however, didn't seem worried at all. I don't know, but it's probably something for adults. Let's watch it. Shola hesitated. The video felt wrong somehow, but Sagan was already glued to the screen. She shifted uncomfortably on the couch. It was just a video, right? Maybe it wasn't so bad. She decided to stay and watch her curiosity getting the best of her. As the video continued, the people on the screen did things that Shola couldn't understand. She didn't know the words for what they were doing, but her stomach twisted. The sounds coming from the TV were strange and made her feel uncomfortable in a way she couldn't explain. She glanced at Sagun, who seemed absorbed, watching intently. Shola's mind raised with questions. Why were they acting like that? Why did it make her feel so uneasy? She thought about her mom and dad, who always told her that there were some things that were only for grown-ups. Was this one of those things? Segun turned to her with an excited smile. I think it's just something that adults do. It doesn't look bad. We should try it too. Shola's eyes widened. What do you mean? Try it, she asked, a voice barely above a whisper. Segun was confident as usual. I think it's something we're supposed to do. Let's try it like they did. Shola felt a hand tighten in her stomach. She didn't know what to say. She wanted to trust Sagan, but something inside her told her it wasn't a good idea. She still didn't want to seem scared. Maybe it would be fine after all. Sagun seemed so sure about it. Okay, she said hesitantly, but only for a little while. They went into the bedroom and tried to mimic what they had seen in the video. But the moment Shola attempted it, she felt an uncomfortable pain in her body. It wasn't like the games they usually played or the fun things they did together. This felt wrong. It hurt. And Shola immediately stopped. Tears welled. In her eyes, she didn't understand why it hurt or why she felt so upset. She looked at Segun and hoping for an explanation, but he seemed confused too. Segun, heard his heart, whispered a voice trembling, Why does it hurt? Segun blinked, looking at her for a moment, then slowly backed away. I don't know. Shola, maybe we weren't supposed to do it like they did in the video. It's okay, we can stop. Shola nodded quickly, feeling relieved. She called up into a ball on the bed, her heart pounding. She didn't know what was happening, but she knew one thing for sure: she didn't want to do that again. It didn't feel like something they should have tried the next day. Shola couldn't stop thinking about what happened. Every time she thought about it, her chest tightened. She wanted to talk. Bola smiled gently, brushing a look of hair from Shola's face. Sweetheart, it's perfectly normal to be curious, but your body is still young, and there are certain things that adults do, but you're not ready for them. You don't need to understand everything right away. What's important is that you never try anything that makes you feel bad. Your body is your own, and it's important to keep it safe. Shola felt a sense of peace wash over her, though she still didn't fully understand everything Bola said. But for the first time since the incident, she didn't feel so alone. She felt hurt. Later that afternoon, Aunt Bola spoke to Shola's mom, explaining what had happened. Shola's mother listened carefully, then decided to sit down with Shola and Segun for a conversation. Shola's mother began gently. I'm glad you spoke up, sweetheart. It is so important that we talk about things that make us feel confused or uncomfortable. What you saw was something meant for adult, and I'm sorry you had to see it, but I'm so proud of you for coming to me. Shola nodded, reluctantly, that her mother wasn't angry. I didn't like it. Mom, it's hurts. Her mother hugged her tightly. I'm so sorry, darling. You're right. There are things that are just for grown-ups and you're not ready for them. You should never do anything that feels wrong to you, and it's always okay to ask questions. You can come to me with anything. Anytime. Segun, who had been quiet through all of this, spoke up. I'm really sorry, Shola. I didn't think it would hurt you. I thought we were just playing. Shola smiled softly. It's okay, Segun. I think we both learned something. As time went on, Shola's mother decided to take some break of work, learning that her children had become full adult and they needed to learn more about sex education.